ask you one quick thing. I know Norris Storage sprays for bugs here and sprays over there. Anybody ever think about there?
Nah, I'm sure you need to probably call him. What's he charge?
I don't know. I didn't think about it yesterday. Walking around seeing a spider on the floor when I killed it, and I asked Becky, and she said, no, I've never seen anybody up here. So.
35? I think it's what we charge me for my house. Same water. He's drowning on it. There.
I told Marshall was on vacation last week, but I told her what the septic people said about the toilet, so she's going to monitor those, see if they're having no problems. She said she changed the paper towels to a different brand, see if that works.
We're doing pretty darn good on auto expense.
Yeah, we'll do good on that this year. Cars are going to help a lot. They get a lot better gas mileage.
And they're newer.
Yeah, have near the repairs.
Everybody's screaming for money. 2 pages
I
worth.
mean, the two that does the most is food service and the gas. So that's the biggest.
Yeah.
Are we housing any juveniles right now, or do you know?
I'm sure there's some in Franklin County. I don't know who, but I'm sure they've got some up there. Got a call from Tommy Reed's office yesterday. They're supposed to start today. I'm thinking those coils up there. These air conditioners. Good. I didn't hear anybody say anything about Friday's rain. I don't know if there's any water in the building or not. It didn't leak last Friday. It didn't leak.
It come flood down. Do you have any problems out in the county over that? Or?
Not as bad as the here in town. I mean, we had some roads that always, go over. Nothing like here in town.
Put a tree down on Deepest Road up there. Hey, y'all got it in jail right now.
Yesterday was 46.
What's the deal with that one? I think that's just a misposting. A negative when you use that much over, but that ain't right.
That's the check that we rolled out for those 2 cars in Missouri. That was an insurance check. That's not actually on my line items. That's our fund. Population stays up, I mean, there's nothing else we can do with people. That's all I got.
No.
Thank you guys.
Have a good one.
How are y'all?
Doing well.
The insurance company, I suppose.
We're the insurance guys.
All right.
Worse than lawyers come in here and next guys.
Think what we got you on the agenda at 9:30?
We're in no hurry.
All right.
You all take care of business and
Got a
we'll
slow-
talk to you whenever you're ready for us.
All right.
Wanna request that, or would you rather wait and push it and stuff, hold on all it's done, or what your thoughts?
I mean, those issues that they have, is that something we talk in open session or we just now? We just wait, I guess, for the complete audit.
Like, if we decide to, then we have them all here.
Yeah.
Jason, I'd like to ask something. That, all these offices up there, I can't think of the name of this. This basically hereditary, what they do every day. What they do the same thing every day.
Just a bunch of repetitive work.
Repetitive. Why is there, question, if it's the same thing every day? You know?
No, I mean, you just have to ask the office. Are you talking about being cross-trained or understanding other positions?
Well,
They don't,
Chris
how about
did have-
understanding their own?
Chris has a specific job over there.
Right.
Well, why does she have a problem with doing it?
Good morning.
Hey, Dana, how are you today?
Fine, how about you? And, this morning I got an email that we're getting the sales tax, which is 42,000 something, so that'll be here in the next day or two.
It needs to be next week's payroll.
Do a lot of digging between now and then.
Did you get that? You got that information you just wanted or whatever?
No, I haven't.
JJ's went out, said she was gonna have that for you today, so I meant to, I thought about it this morning and then
Cycle going on.
our office, mobile home taxes are due August the 15th.
Today's the 9th, right? What's my tax due? Last of this month?
August 31st, first day.
Definitely pay you that, all right?
So just leave us a blank check.
Do what now?
Just leave us a blank check and we'll fill it in
I
whatever day you set
Throw
it
mine in
to.
there too, yeah.
No, I don't have anything.
Anything going on in Unionville or Hamlet Fire?
Not this week.
Nothing.
Had enough excitement last week for,
To last you.
yeah, to last a while.
All right.
Gonna be able to pay for bills.
No,
That goes, you don't have to be paid.
That's fine. Okay, just call me. I'll work that out. How are you?
All right, how are you?
Well, where did they pick the Ben Homer right there?
I know about.
Joe. All right.
Thought we just went,
Can't complain.
we didn't say.
Well, yeah, I was somewhere down there, but I don't know where he left his video. I really don't know those stories. Hopefully they just give him voicemail. I don't know what all's going on with him.
That boy signed up for high school?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow?
Well, we signed off last year, tomorrow's the day that they register, I guess.
Oh, is it tomorrow?
Tonight is that, I don't know what to do, but it's orientation, freshman orientation.
Oh, yeah, it's cool.
You nervous?
I don't know if he is or not.
If he is, he don't show it, huh?
No, we don't show it.
Come on up, might as well get it over with. You good with that? Nobody's done that to a car truck.
Not yet, no, we're still,
Thought maybe somebody step up to the plate with one of those.
we've got all the, we've got the engine out of it now. We were going to maybe take it to Macwell or something, to see if they can repair it. But now that he's got it out and got the cab, looked at the cab and everything, he thinks he can fit one of them. I'm gonna tell you wrong, B466s or something in it, inline six basically. It's a much better.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Better than V8.
so he's going to look for one of those at a place up there in North City. The guy up there, Johnson. He hadn't gone up there yet, but he's fixing to go up there and look for one and see if he can repair it with that. Which, if we find a decent one, it should,
I think there's a whole bunch of them DT 466 in school buses, ain't there?
Or your combines and everything.
Yeah.
should last us for a long,
Do
long
15
time.
those. Who knows?
That would be nice.
Yeah, if we get that repaired that way. So that's what we're shooting for. Can't guarantee that that's what's gonna happen, but that's what we're shooting for. So we're still, now I don't know how long it's gonna take. We still may not be able to do any more on picking this year because of that.
Maybe a cold one.
We can at least make it up next year, if we don't, we still have our patcher running, so we're trying to cover as much ground with patcher as we can. Not a whole lot more. Jason, Howell, see,
Yeah, Sandy now.
didn't see Sandy, I was talking to her husband, Larry.
Very out there.
Apparently, he's been mad about this whole situation for about 20 years ago.
Okay.
He said basically, whoever owned it about 20 years ago, there used to be a natural drain that goes through the middle of that property, it's all grown up. And that's what's lined up with that 24-inch pipe that we got going over North Avenue that goes over to the cemetery side.
Water's going to the east right there.
Yeah. So apparently, 20 years ago, they filled that whole lot in, filled that drain in to where it can't go through that property.
The property owner did,
Yeah.
but you're not supposed to do that, right?
Well, you're not supposed to obstruct an after drain, no, right, but it has nothing to do with the county,
Okay.
that part of it. So basically what's happening now is that all the water that's coming back from Cedar Lane and that whole area back in there
Coming around to
is,
the south on the
instead of
inside.
going through that property directly to that pipe, it's building up on the house property and on the property line in common between the house and that grown up piece of property. And it's, when it's a heavy rain, it gets pretty bad. Like the other night, it was just lake out there. I didn't take any pictures, but it was full of water all the way up to near his garage. So there wasn't anything blocked. It's just that whole property is blocking the natural drain supposedly. I didn't verify that as far as from old maps or anything, but I believe what he's telling me is probably right. There's an entrance on the very south side of that lot, and there's a small pipe. I mean, water was going through it as fast as it could the other day, but it wasn't cutting it. Yeah, it was restricting it. So, he understood that we didn't have anything to do with the private property side of the point, but he did ask if we could possibly take that entrance out, so it's a clear ditch from the side all the way over to that big one that goes underneath
out of it. Generally speaking, we don't do that, but since it's a problem, I was gonna ask you all if you thought it was all right if we just did, cause he said nobody uses that entrance there. There is 2 entrances to that property, so it's not like we're cutting off, so we could always put it back
Is it
later.
grown up on the inside of that particular entrance?
Yes,
That's what I thought.
and it's, well, there's actually,
Because that camper or whatever's on the north end.
yeah, it's on the other entrance. There's another entrance on the other side of the big pipe where that camper is, where they go in and out there. And supposedly, the person that owns it doesn't even live around here. They only stay there maybe once a year when hunting season's in or something. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, they get those down south, we've seen that letters, cause it's all grown up, it's a
So,
road issue.
even just for a temporary or whatever, I mean, you guys think it'd be okay? I mean, I think it'd be okay. We can always do something later if there's a problem with it, but I would just go ahead and take it out. Take that
Give it
pipe
that
out.
I'm down with it.
Yeah, if it'd help him, see what we can do.
At least it'll stop the water from building up so much if we do have some more heavy rains. Right. So we'll call it big over and go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And if we have to, if we have to replace that entrance, we have to put a bigger pipe in anyway, because the way that the water is coming down, it's not near big enough.
Used to, the water did not go through this particular pipe.
Right. And if we did, we'd probably have to have the property owner pay for the upgrade.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. I mean, the other night it wasn't damaging anything of his other than his ground. It wasn't getting up into his house or his garage or anything, but
But we had a lot of rain quick that day.
and that's one thing that, when we have rains like that, there's people that call all over the county mad about water building up, and you just can't help it.
When it rains 5 inches, it rains
Cannot
5
be
inches.
designed to handle that kind of water that quick. I saw some pictures people putting on Facebook down in Metropolis, and Baker Drive and everything is completely underwater. It's just too much rain at one time,
Yeah.
It's just the nature of
Nature of flood.
flash flooding. That's why they call it flash flood.
Yeah.
So,
I had leaks in my house Friday, I never knew.
yeah. So that's that. We did get that tree that we all talked about pretty quick, and
Yeah.
they got
Of
good.
course, that was 10 minutes after 5 when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Oh,
Friday.
Just right after quitting.
And it
time.
was, yeah, it was, and it was Friday, I didn't think about that.
Right after quitting time on a Friday or a Saturday, yeah. So, yeah, but we got it. They got it pretty quick out of the way. I mean, they had it out of the way before I got back to the business. So,
I was gonna ask you on that bridge, Country Club Road, the one that goes over the train track, the rails on the side of that, it's metal going up and it's wood on top there. The handrails or whatever you call it. the
It's
safety
all
rails.
wood.
It's all wood. Does it get pretty rough there at the top of it?
Rails, you mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. They're all rough. I mean, everything on that.
Can we, is it possible to put metal there, or is it just, you can do stuff like that?
I would have to look into it. I mean, it's a wood structure. I don't know that.
I had someone call and talk to the guy, and that's why I talked to Joe about it, and
Yeah.
say,
I don't know that it would do any. I mean, since it's attached to a wood structure, I would have to just look into it. I would see what the.
because I don't know what it attached to for strength to be strong.
Right. And right now, I mean, wood is not an approved rail right now. So it doesn't matter what condition, if it was brand new wood, it's not
Okay.
approved.
Okay.
So,
Is it metal going up the ramp, or is it wood all the
Probably
way?
a guardrail.
yeah,
Guardrail, that's
up the road, it's metal guardrail. And
Yeah.
once you get on the bridge, it's wood rails up there.
I didn't know if you could attach to that metal on,
So,
coming up the road. or
if you
not.
put, I don't know if it's possible to put normal bridge rails, metal bridge rails on a wood structure. I don't know if that's possible as far as being okay with IDOT
Yeah,
and okay with the bridge office.
which I know that's gonna be a huge, deal when y'all work
that in and of itself would be a cost that I, you know, not saying I'm not willing to bear, but I mean, it'd be a heavy, heavy cost to do something to a structure that really needs to be replaced. And I'm trying to get in the process of applying for a different pot of money, the Grade Crossing Protection Fund, to get that
Have your
bridge
copy of that
replaced.
one?
It probably won't happen for
Pressure.
8 to 10 years, but I'm planning on putting in an application this year to that fund to see if we can get funded,
On trade.
because that's gonna be probably close to $1 million structure. And, but frankly, we just don't have enough money to do it in any fund that we have. I mean, we just don't have the money to do that unless we get this outside funding. So I'm trying to shoot for that, because I know I've had calls all summer long about it being rough. And you know, the deck, you know, the loads that just go over that thing, I mean, we talk about those trucks going over constantly, even if they're empty, they still cause a lot of damage to it, because they're heavy enough to make the deck flex and move, and then the pavement.
It's wear and tear.
A deck of that nature was never meant to have pavement on top of it. It just was never meant to. I don't know why it was done that way. I mean, it worked for some years, but the nature of that type of deck, a plank deck, it shouldn't have thickness of pavement on it, because you're gonna have those problems all the time. My plan here this coming year is to try to scrape all that material off, to maybe make it a little bit better to where you don't have so much bumps on it all the time. But that would still just be a temporary Band-Aid to what the whole problem is. I mean, the problem is the structure. We need to replace the structure.
This person just was concerned with, you know, the rails inside the guardrails, is what he has.
I understand that.
Yeah.
You got a lot of concern too, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in another plan of mine, which I haven't done yet, I just need to get the signs. I plan on putting some warning signs on the approaches going up to that bridge, warning there's a rough ridge surface, and putting an advisory speed limit on it of 30 miles an hour. That would help some on the bumps and some on the deterioration of the surface and everything else, but it would only be an advisory speed limit, and people, you know how people thumb their nose at things like that anyway.
Right.
But that could help in a lot of circumstances if we cut down on some of the speed that people go over that bridge. It could, you know, obviously it helped on people's vehicles not feeling so many bumps. I mean, we can go over slow, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But if you go over at 55 miles an hour, yeah, it's like to throw you out of it. The other thing is, you know, if you do lose control on it, you're less likely to hit a rail if you're going 30 miles an hour versus 55. You know, so I plan on doing that here in the near future, because, you know, because of the, I just think it would be best. I just think it would be best.
That's all I had.
And I could look into putting rails on it, but I guarantee it would probably be $100,000 to put rails on a wood structure that needs to be replaced anyway.
Yeah.
$100,000, like 10% of the bridge replacement.
Yeah, I mean, because the steel is expensive. I mean, those rails are really expensive.
Bring it to your
Yeah.
which is already to your attention.
Yeah, I mean, I've been debating in my mind over that structure ever since I got this job.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's a structure that really needs to be something done with. I'll try to get something done with it. It's just gonna take some time to get the right funding.
You guys out home somewhere today?
Yep. They've been working their way back from the east on orange chip roads. I don't exactly know where they're at.
Out there in the weeds somewhere, ain't it?
They're doing it to it. I know it doesn't seem like we've been doing much mowing this year because it's grown up so much, but we've had a lot of moisture, a lot of ideal weather for weeds and grass to grow, so they're doing what they can.
I am.
Yeah. Oh, and, we did, on that other bridge that we are going to have, the next one we're doing, the one on Mermet Road, we had that archaeological study done. We went out there last week to do that, and we didn't really find anything in the field, so they're in the process of writing a report up. Clear.
May I ask what field you went into, or do you know? Was it Stratmeyer Field or?
No, it was, James Hillens that, Darryl farmed. And it wasn't, it was on the right of way, we didn't get off the right of
Did you
way.
dig in the ditch there?
We dug
I
right,
seen
well,
one.
on the top of the bank, we dug some of his beams out, but there was actually widened right of way there already, he's just been planning on the right of way for a while, so. Which is okay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just.
I'm sure, I don't know of any farmer that's gonna bark if you get on it. We want the bridge replaced as bad as we
That one's always been a problem.
Here,
for
here,
us with,
You skipped here.
So, that's it for me.
Thanks,
Hi,
Brad.
man. Here.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Jason,
Yes, sir.
throw me your copy of the sheriff's thing.
Where y'all live at?
Havana.
Havana.
I live in O'Fallon.
About,
I'm originally from DuPont, but I live up close to the same.
you're eat that restaurant,
Yes,
Matawata.
Ottawa Creek,
I
yeah.
couldn't think of the name.
You gotta go there when you're good and hungry.
You know, we, first time we ever went there to eat, we ate breakfast at home before we headed towards Cardinal game.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
It was. It was like, it's way
Plate,
too,
plate's that big around.
yeah, you almost need to just not eat for like a
Yeah.
day and then go there.
I plan on bringing half of it home besides.
It's, the portions are unbelievable.
Yeah. Everything good and fried and covered in gravy.
Yeah,
My kind of food.
Yep.
and it's the only location too.
Yeah, it's a family-owned business.
Yeah,
It's a one of a kind.
it's packed.
And you know, they built a brand new TGI Fridays right across the street from it,
Yeah,
and, I don't think it's hurt their business a bit. The parking lot's always still full.
oh yeah. That place is, it's a must stop, you know, if you're going
Now,
in the direction.
I try to avoid it all I can, but sometimes even I fall victim.
Yeah, we,
Jeff?
Mr. Weber, I'm Mike Snedeker.
Meet you.
Good to meet you.
Your name, sir?
Jason
Yeah.
Childers.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Childers.
Jason,
Jason, pleased to meet you.
Jason, I believe I talked to you very briefly last fall. I called you, you were chairman
Yes,
last
that's
year.
right.
Here's who
Called
I
you
am.
very briefly and just wanted to introduce myself, and you had mentioned that you were, had just gone through a renewal process maybe
Yeah.
at that time, and maybe we would talk this year. And, first off, just wanna thank you all for spending a little time with us. But, I work for Snedeker Risk Management, and I'm very fortunate today, I've got my boss here, I've got Mr. Snedeker.
Well, he doesn't have a boss, but go right ahead.
But, you all probably don't understand the significance of that, but we don't get Mr. Snedeker down to God's country very often. They
Oh,
keep
man.
him bottled up in the office most of the time. But, I've also gotten to know Juanita.
We and Gerald will share.
okay, I'm sorry.
If you need another one, I'll bring it.
Oh, no.
No, you're fine, you're fine. I just wanted to mention too, I've gotten to know Juanita a little bit, and my interest in being able to talk to you today, my background is I was county clerk in Perry County for a lot of years. So I still stay very active with that group. I know a little bit about county government. We in Perry County are a commission county, so it was interesting to me to sit back and listen to your meeting for a while, and I had to chuckle a little bit when your county treasurer was in here, and the comment was asked, can we pay the bills this week? I know how that goes. I know how that goes when you unfortunately have to sit and scratch your head and figure out what's gonna be paid and what can be put off until next week. But, Juanita mentioned to me, some time back that you all might be looking at healthcare options, just to see what's out there. And that's why we wanted to come and talk to you a little bit today. I want to begin just giving you a little bit of information about our firm and what we do, and then I'm gonna give the heavy lifting to Mr. Snedeker here. But Mr. Snedeker founded the firm back in the 1980s, and what we do is a little bit different from anybody else in the state of Illinois. We strictly work with public entity insurance. Our customer base is public entities, counties, cities, a few other small entities, housing authorities, and that sort of thing. A couple of hospital districts, but we work with tax-supported entities exclusively. And we provide all manner of insurance: property, casualty, workers' compensation, and healthcare. And that keeps us pretty specific. To my knowledge, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're just about the only folks in the state of Illinois that boards in specifically on public entity insurance, probably in the southern two-thirds of the state anyway. There may be others. But our customer base, as I said, is entirely public entities, but it's also small public entities. We don't do business in the Chicago area. We don't even do business in the St. Louis area. We work exclusively with small to medium-sized entities. And we're very fortunate. We have relationships with 21 or 22 counties now in the state of Illinois, where we provide some manner of service to them in addition to a dozen or more other entities. But I would say our largest county at this point would be maybe 45,000 population. So we're not dealing with Cook County or St. Clair County or Sangamon County. We like to really go where we can get to know folks, develop a relationship, and work with them over a period of years. And that would be our interest in coming to talk to you. I do want to pass out some information on our current healthcare plans. And our way of doing things may be a little bit different. For healthcare, this is everybody that we work with. We're not going to give you the references on the back end. We're going to give you the references on the front end. And
Hopefully these people all say something nice about us.
well, but that's just the thing. We're not going to give you one or two names that we know are going to give you a glowing reference. That's everybody we do business with on healthcare. So you can pick one that you know, you can pick one at random, or you can call all of them if you choose. But you can see there are county board chairs on there, there are county clerks, county treasurers, risk managers. And in this part of the world, we're fortunate that we work with Pulaski County next door to you, and we also work with Union County and Johnson County. Union and Johnson both on property casualty and with their health care. So with that being said, I want to let Mr. Snedeker talk to you a little bit more about where we would see things going for Massac County. But we start in a little bit different position with you all because we work in two directions on healthcare. We have a trust that we operate, which is basically a conglomeration of counties that have come together and decided that it's too hard for them to be out on the market on their own. The groups are small, but yet they know that there is value in large numbers. So we have a trust, and it has about 15 different employers in it, 11 of those being counties. We call that the Hope Trust, Health Options for Public Entities. And basically all of those folks have joined together to form their own insurance company. And it's worked out very well. So that's about half of our healthcare clients. The other half are partially self-funded. And that is where you all are now. You understand what a self-funded plan is. That's frankly where I come from, my background in Perry County. How I got to know Mr. Snedeker some 15 years ago when I became the county clerk. Mike had come in at that time and worked with Perry County to put together a self-funded health plan. And so that was what I would choose to. We don't see a lot of folks that want to go down that road in this day and age. But you all have worked with a self-funded plan. You know a little bit about what it is, and you also know some of the benefits that go along with it, namely the fact that when you're on a self-funded plan, you have the ability to not totally absorb that cost out of the general fund, that you have the ability through your tort liability levy to leverage some of those costs from a different pool. So with that, I'll let Mr. Snedeker talk to you and give his analysis, and we'll, we're a pretty informal bunch, so if you have questions or need something clarified, feel free to jump in and ask.
Thank you, Mr. Kern. Ladies and gentlemen, he's exactly right. I think you do know the fundamentals, and excess loss liability can be paid for out of the tort levy. Many of our county, city, village governments, that's how they pay their costs. The Hope Trust, I would like to give you just a little brief background, and I'm reminded a little bit of a story of Mark Twain when he went to a revival meeting in a tent. Said the minister was just dynamite, and he was so excited he looked in his pocket to how much money he had, and he looked around to see if he could borrow some money from some other people, and the longer the fellow talked and the longer he talked, he said, when the plate got to me, I stole $10. So let's just hope that I don't talk too long here and wear out my welcome. But with that said, the Hope Trust, and I brought this, but I can see the paperwork here. So if you'd like this, I'd like you each to have one. If you don't, I can just give it to Juanita. This is, the Hope Trust, as Kevin talked about, started several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. 4 counties started it. The counties of Cumberland, Clay, Jasper, and Schuyler County. Now, small folks, and quite candidly, most of them had been my client before. Clay County had been self-funded, similar to you kids. And, but it got a little bit too much administrative work, a lot of things. And I think even though our rate increases are all kept to single digits, or knock on wood, that's been our history, or flat. We've had, the Hope Trust, I think, had 2 years that has 0 increase, which is, you know, unheard of. Now, is that a precursor to the future? I don't know. But anyway, the reason they banded together is 2 of them had come from being Blue Cross Blue Shield clients. And if you've read your newspaper, you're seeing these rate increases, and they're substantial. And as you know, we're talking budgets here. You know, our county clients can budget X number of dollars for increases, but they can't go with 25, 35, 45%. You know, what happens then is they turn it over to the employees. Well, here's what we're paying, you're gonna do it. Well, there's not the money to do that either. It's kind of like the bridge. I mean, we have to wait our turn. So they came together saying we want to pool our resources. We want to be this as efficient as we possibly can. We want to give our employees health care coverages, but at a cost that the dependents can afford and that the county can afford when they're paying toward the employee or the families. So with that said, they started out there driven for the most part because they saw the future budget where this is untenable. You know, if you were handed a big rate increase that you read about in the newspaper, it's like game over. Because there isn't the money in our clients to handle that. So the Hope Trust was born. And we set sail, and it's been, as far as I'm concerned, a resounding success. The financials are audited each year. You're more than welcome to look at their audits. We have a client conference every year. This year it's in East Peoria. And I would imagine we're probably going to have between 20 and 25 counties. We have some prospective clients that now are looking. One of my existing clients is going to be joining the Hope Trust, and they've been self-funded with me for 25 years. I know I only look like I'm 18, but they have been with me. But that is, and the Hope Trust, it isn't one contract fits all. I noticed you have a low deductible from my estimation. I personally think healthcare is going more the way with health savings accounts where you have a higher deductible and you empower people with their own checkbook and their own funds to pay those smaller fees. And you're never going to get more efficient than spending your own money. That's my philosophy, and that's kind of, I don't really steer the ship, but I do kind of steer the ship. I look into the crystal ball. I can't see very much farther than anybody else, but I know that we have to empower people to make some of these decisions. With that said, we design benefits for our client, but we also on our reinsurance, we block our business together. We take the various accounts, and when we negotiate with,
these folks.
when we negotiate, we negotiate collectively, because you're gonna have a good year and you're gonna have a bad year. We all know that. You know, that's just the way of the world. And when it comes to healthcare and county governments, we like to have like-minded people join up. We've never had anybody leave us, knock on wood. We don't, if you're gonna join and then think you're gonna bid or leave in a year or two, don't join the Hope Trust. You see what, we're setting sail kind of for the future. Right now, you're on your own. That seems to be working very successfully. My sales pitch, if you wanna call that, Mark Twain, I'm looking at, is we would want a broker record where we're doing your business for you. We're designing your plan, and your plan, there's nothing wrong with the design other than I think in compliance. And Mr. Kern's correct, we're a team, and we have a labor attorney in our firm that really drafts these and corrects these. And with the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, there's always changes. You know what I'm saying? It's just practically every day there's a tweak here, a tweak there, and to keep everybody on the same page, you know, we do that. Jason is his name, Jason Booth, and you'll probably meet him if we go any further. Our team is comprised primarily of 6 colonels that come out, and any of us call the play. You know, we support each other, we keep each other kind of up to date, what we're all doing. If there's a problem, we all know about it. That's magic. I think of the cell phones, you know, we're kind of hooked up. But instead of me just giving you the sales pitch, I'd entertain any questions. I have had a tenure in this. I've been in the insurance business north of 40 years. I still think people can control their own funds better than they can have somebody control them for them. And so, just like with your healthcare fund, you keep your reserves right here in the county. There's not a lot of interest anymore, but you always know what the checkbook balance is. And that's your barometer. You know, when you're partially self-funded, I don't know what your retention level is. But I may want to, if anything, throttle that down, not throttle it up. Here again, the tort levy, that excess loss liability, many times we can negotiate with the carrier. The Hope Trust, I'm jumping on you, but they started out with a $25,000 retention. What that means is that the trust took the first $25,000 of risk on every man, woman, and child. Well, that's called specific loss reinsurance. It's a liability policy. That is what costs the most money. We then also get what they call an aggregate loss liability, and that's like an umbrella. This is an umbrella over each person. An aggregate's like an umbrella over the whole group, so that we can't break the bank. So we're not going to draw a check that there's no money to cover. And we buy that from a reinsurer. And we generally do that. We negotiate our plans are Jan 1 to December 31st. If any liability sits in there, we want that paid. And we really...
And that liability policy is where your tort levy comes in.
That's where their tort levy comes from. So anyway, we start out with a $25,000 retention in the Hope Trust. We're controlled by a lot of Dutchmen. Dutch women too. 3 of our members are county clerks on the executive committee. And they said, well, we could save, and I'm going to pull out a figure, the size of the trust, it's about 1,000 lives, maybe $40,000 if we go with a higher retention, 30 or 35,000. Well, Jason, after 2 years, did an analysis, and they lost money on it. You know, we paid less tort levy, but our claim fund went up. So it's kind of like, now, hit the pause button here. You know, a cost is a cost, but let's protect the quarterback here, which is your healthcare plan. You know, and I'm kind of the linebacker here, and so is the reinsurer. So our focus is really to coordinate all the parties, whether it's the reinsurance, whether it's the third-party plan administrator, whether it's the drug vendor, everything has acronyms in the insurance. I call it insurancees. If you want to you start talking in insurancees. But the drug companies are consuming more and more of the money. We try to use generics, as I know that you're trying to do with yours, but we monitor that. But with that said, we're here to kind of just be an architect engineer for healthcare plans. Now, I don't know if you have any interest, but we did want to come and meet you all and do my sales pitch. What you will get from me is truth and honesty. Now, aside from that, I'm not the pretty face other people might expect in a marketing representative, but we're here to solve problems. And we're also here to look down the road into future budgets.
What concerns and questions do you all have?
How long has Johnson County been with you guys?
About a year on the Hope Trust.
They've been a property casualty customer of ours for many years before that, but they joined the Home Trust last fall.
And Union did also about the same time. They'd been a property casualty client with us. We try to do a total account service for our clients. So, you know, if you have an issue, whether it involves the highway engineer or the county clerk, they call our office and they get reaction immediately. Either get people on the doorstep or we're a phone call away. You know, that's just the way we operate.
We're a phone call away, and the unique thing about us, even though we don't live local to any of these folks, except for our own hometowns, we're around all the time. You know, Juanita and I see each other practically every month, and we're knocking on courthouse doors 4 days out of 5. You know, yesterday afternoon, we were in Union County and in Johnson County checking on them just to make sure that they don't have any issues. Inevitably, when you fall through the courthouse door, someone's got an issue. But that's what we're here for. We like to serve our folks and take care of them on an eye-level basis. How's your claims administration going? Are you all satisfied with the handling, the billing, those sorts of issues, enrollment issues?
I am, but I'm not the one that's on the day-to-day mess with that. I'm sure Juanita, county clerk, Dana as county treasurer, I don't know what issues they have.
So you handle the day-to-day operations, the funding, the changes, new
They threw
employees?
you right into the deep
Dana
end of
and
the
I,
pool, didn't they?
well, Dana and I both, we pay the bills. And, as I've told them in the past, the biggest concern I've had is, I don't get a list of who all's on there and who's been taken off every month. They say we're supposed to keep track of that. Well, yeah, we do keep track of that. But we need to know we're on the same page. That when we ask for somebody to be added on, that they're added on. When we ask for somebody to be removed, that they're removed. We need to see that in black and white.
Mutual medical is who does those. You might be
We
familiar
handle
with
some mutual medical business.
But, I mean, the pricing's been good. I was just looking here at, 2011, Blue Cross Blue Shield, we was at $605,000. So we went to mutual medical. 2012, we was at 513. 13, we was at 498. 14, 531. 15, 574. We're looking at being at 547 this year. So an average cost of 533 over the last.
It's been very consistent, it's been very good versus the Blue Cross Blue Shield of 5 years ago that would have had a
Yeah.
curve like
Pretty
this.
steep incline.
No, I won't argue with your assessment. I guess, here again, I go back to my pitch. What we bring to the table, being a broker record, that's simply a letter you sign as a board authorizing us to be your agent. And in essence, we coordinate this. Whether you want to continue with mutual medical, it's fine. But I can guarantee you one thing, you're going to have census every month if I have to prepare. You know, that's, the ID cards, I handed one of my business cards to the young lady from the press. We make the ID cards in our office, if need be. I mean, it's a plastic, so if one's lost or, youngsters going to college out of state, whatever the need is, we do that and our turnaround's extremely fast. And you're gonna,
And the benefit of that is, that's a savings. You would be surprised how much those nickel and dime issues add up to real money.
But does your clients feel like they save more money on Hope than they do as
depends on the client. Right now, until I know anything, I'm kinda like the doctor that you just came in, I need to run a few tests, but initially, I would want you to just stay just like you are with us as the agent, so we get a pulse. Get a census, start finding out what kind of a claim, activity you have. You've run very consistent with your overall cost being $500,000, versus $600,000 or $700,000. So you already know the savings there to the taxpayers and also to the employees. The key is, can that be done better? Don't know until I look at it. You have a very low deductible right now. I do think that you're gonna have to more sooner than later look at a high deductible plan, where again, you empower the employees to pay some of these front-end costs with a health savings account, or the county look at a health reimbursement arrangement. You understand what I'm saying there? To where, the health plan starts, we have to limit those increases. You're looking at $500,000 today. What's it gonna be in 3 years? What's it gonna be in 5 years? I think we'll all agree with the Blue Cross Blue Shield trajectory that you saw 4 or 5 years ago. It'll be substantially more than you're paying right now. I'm saying it needs some attention.
But
Now,
I mean, if you continue to raise the employee's deductible, or whether.
I'd give them an option. I would, first of all,
Eventually, you're gonna max that out, and then we'll be right back where we're at.
could be. Although, what we have found, some of the plan options we have, every client picks their deductible for the most part. Good, better, best. I think there's 5 choices right now. We have some entities that really have bought into my idea of the health savings account, and those have been just, I think, phenomenal.
And those are optional, those are usually offered in tandem with each other, so no one is forced to do that.
No.
But that's where we will come in, sit down and talk to folks, and they're gonna have to make a kitchen table decision at home with their family. But for the vast majority of folks, if they're relatively healthy, that's typically the better option.
When you're self-funded, what other plans do you have within that? Do you have,
Here's,
like,
I didn't want to lose you with paperwork.
With mutual medical, you have plans within the plans, you know what I mean, for different options for different people.
Right.
Do you all offer that
Yes.
as well?
And at that juncture too, I think you might want to just call some of our, if you want to divvy them up, call some of your counterparts. Ask them how it's going. Are the employees, are their families happy with this? You can just tell them there was a pretty face in here, but we really want to know what the facts are.
How about that? Which ones were was there ones Johnson County self-funded?
They're in the Hope Trust.
Union County?
They're in the Hope Trust, if they
Oh, I
have the
see what
HT, they're in the trust, if they don't have that,
Okay.
they are, they're a self-funded plan,
I follow.
so they're about half and half.
Okay. What kind of plan did Johnson County have before? Were they on like Blue Cross Blue Shield?
I'm not sure.
I believe they were,
might
I
have been.
believe they were, and they were frankly just priced out.
Yeah.
And they were also running into the issue of too few choices and rate increases that went up, and they were shopping around. They had folks in there trying to look at a better deal every year, but then again, you get into the frustration, well, if we're gonna change plans, change carriers, change networks every year, that runs into frustration and uncertainty from year to year, particularly if you've gone to the same doctor for 30 years, and then all of a sudden,
They're out
your
of network.
employer changes plans, and then suddenly you're not in network anymore. But we work with HealthLink. All of our plans are on the HealthLink network, and you all probably know, around this part of the country, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that's not in network in HealthLink. That they, regardless of whether you're going somewhere local, or whether you're going to St. Louis or Nashville or elsewhere for more serious treatment, just about everybody you're gonna find is gonna be in network.
Sure.
Same thing with the pharmaceutical benefits. The network that we use is pretty universal, both on your national chains, whether it's Walmart or Walgreens or CVS, or whether it's mom and pop pharmacy on the street corner down here across from the courthouse. Very wide network.
Inside those, I know I asked Jason to put these together for me, is his business card and one of my sons that's also in our firm. They're really they spearhead the Hope Trust. why we all work on it. They're the colonels in charge of the day-to-day operations. But no, short term, I think, if you're conducive to naming us the broker record on your business, we'd just bring your plan kind of more up into compliance and leave you right where it is and get pulse. But first of all, or our team will work with Juanita, we'll get a census. You know, we need to know how many people you have covered. Right now, it's kind of like a he said, she says. We don't know. We don't know who's on, who's off. You know, and in any group this size, you're gonna have transitions.
What we're looking at too are the technology issues moving forward. We want to ensure that we're with those who, you know, if there is a claim issue, not only can you call us, but ideally you can get online and determine that. If you have census changes, if you have people dropping off the plan coming on, if you have questions about whether a claim has been adjudicated, those ideally should be very easily accessible for you. Not that someone can't call us and we can track that information down, but we like to take care of everyone personally and timely. To the extent that they can do that on their own, all the better, but we're always here to assist in that too.
You can look at that, that's the list of people that's on our plan.
How many do you have roughly?
I think it's like
70, 80?
no, I think it's like 60 something.
It's a good sized group.
Out of employee only, is the pricing for the family expensive?
Yes.
Too expensive.
Are you tiered pricing where it's employee, employee spouse, employee child, employee family? Well, ladies and gentlemen, any questions? I don't want my sermon going too long.
Personally, I'm gonna call some of these other counties.
We welcome that. I don't know, I apologize, I don't think I gave you a business card as well. I don't really want to overload you, but.
Nice cards.
Well, as we say, we print all these in-house, so.
You can give them to the press.
Is there any questions for us?
Here, I'll pass
That
it.
you have, besides what you asked?
You know, just, we'd like to add a new client.
Yeah.
We like to marry up for life.
It seems like, you know, with your retention, you know, once you get someone, it seems like you don't.
Well,
That's a good thing.
I guess if you take away anything, that's the point I want to make. We can sit here and talk specifics and minutia and get off in the weeds in healthcare. And we have great performance when the counties are willing to sit down and do that. Some of the changes that we might recommend may be tiny percentages, but when you multiply that out over 70 folks on the plan, it adds up to real money. And when you're sitting, scratching, trying to figure out how you're going to pay all your bills that month, it matters. But the point I want to make is we are service oriented. This gentleman started this as a business 30 years ago, and that's exactly what we do. We try to take care of people. It sounds cliche to say it, that we view our clients as family, but they really become. We try to take good care of them. Juanita knows she can't get rid of me because I'm at all the meetings. And this gentleman knows insurance. I'm more of a county government background. I know local government, and we stay involved in all the associations, whether it's the county's association, the UCCI. I'm involved still in the County Clerks Association. So we're available, we're accessible, we're customer oriented. We try to show up often, not just when there's problems, and we try to really take care of people. Whether that be an administration issue for the clerk's office, whether that be a cost issue for you board members, or whether that's an employee that simply has health concerns. You know, you mentioned other plans. We do have other plans, and we can take care of folks in some unique ways. But that's just not going to come down from on high. It's going to be in here at this table behind closed doors and talking to someone and looking them in the eye and earning their trust. And that's how we operate. So that's how we do business, and if we can be a fit with you all, we'd love to do that.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen and lady. Appreciate it. Look forward to being in touch with you.
Yes, sir.
Meet you.
Take
Makes
care.
sense.
Well, I will.
Thank you, sir, we
Thank you.
appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Can we expect to hear back from you in the
Well,
near
this is-
future?
Yeah, I mean, this is
Well,
Chairman Weber,
well-
so.
Got a lot of information to swallow.
Okay.
You do,
But,
and if we can help you digest it, if you have questions or
I'm
concerns
not
later
gonna
on.
leave this, cause I don't think right now you're a candidate for Hope Trust, but this is an intergovernmental agreement that we have, that the entities all signed to be part of this.
I understand.
And we just want your state's attorney or whoever to look it over, and they all do, but, you've got kind of our outline. Unless, Juanita, you want me to keep this, would your state's attorney wanna look at it?
Yeah,
Probably give it to them,
probably
they
better
give it
have
to
it up first.
Well,
We can be in touch.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I wanna call, some, and I'm sure these guys wanna call some people.
We welcome it.
Thank you. very
Gentlemen,
much.
we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
Juanita, I'll
take
be in
care.
touch.
Thanks for coming
Thank you.
by.
In a couple of weeks.
You know it, we'll be there.
Back a list of what we're asking for or what we want, that way we can try to compare different policies. I think the city's trying to, make a list of criteria or things that they want on their policy. That way they can compare apples to apples, And I don't know if we can talk to the state's attorney or someone and try to see if we can get a list. Sometimes you kinda wonder if different proposals, what all you're getting,
Yeah.
if it's comparable. I mean, I think there's things offered with this Hope Trust that say that could be offered with self-funded or fully funded could match it, I mean, it's just different types of insurance. I don't know how to explain that, but
Everybody that's on our insurance has got the same coverage, correct? I mean, right now.
right.
I guess I was a bit confused. Was he saying that some of them could go to a different deductible, or some of them maybe have a health savings account?
I think what this gentleman was trying to say was to save money, he thinks that the deductibles that the county employees pay are too low. And to save money on the reinsurance plan or this
Yeah.
plan, make their deductibles higher. So it would save the county
Same
more money.
county money, yeah.
And he was just trying to make the point of, if your deductibles are higher, you're less likely to go to the doctor unless you really need to.
Yeah.
And that's his,
I can tell you for a fact,
Yeah.
I have an HSA.
yeah.
I'm the one that puts the money in there. Oddly enough, I never really saw it. There are 3 people that live in my house that burn up all the money.
Yeah. But.
Does that make sense?
But the fear of is, once you raise deductibles in a certain period, I mean, you price it out for the employee.
Words mean a lot. He says you need to empower the employee.
Yeah.
I agree with that to an extent, but they're not gonna swallow it that way. Or I don't think they. Did I hand you back here? This thing?
No, I don't think so.
There it is. Let me see if I can find my account. And got 2 business here.
How's Michelle? And, see what further questions that he had after getting information that has been emailed. Jeff, did you get the emails? Well, I noticed that. I didn't think that was the email address for you.
Here to these questions. I did send it to Gerald, but he said he's had a chance to read it.
Okay.
what is it today you wanna go over, just,
Well, do you all have any further questions, or feel like you're at a point to perhaps decide which direction you wanna go? Or do you want us to kind of rehash some of it since Jim hadn't seen the email?
you can if you want, I mean, it's, I let him read it just before y'all got
Oh, okay.
here.
Oh, I didn't read the questions, but anyhow.
I think the bottom line is that the plan that we're showing you is kind of a hybrid plan between the other two. It's the latest effort on the part of the health insurance industry to start trying to get control on the costs. And there is a contract that you would sign that would outline the coverage. And your concerns might be, well, this is a new thing, and who knows, at the end of it, the company may have lost money. Well, if they have, the company's lost money. That's all. You don't have to come back and make it up. They give you a contract that says it saves you X number of dollars over the year, and it's got to do that. It can't, you know. So if you're looking for savings, in the very worst case scenario that I see that the commissioners would have for the county is you end up at the end of the year and your claims have exceeded what you paid in, and the company's gonna raise the price. I think he gave you a 2-year quote, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, but the bottom line is, when they do, go out and bid it again, if that's what happens. But take the savings you're given. If you ignore the offer, at the end of a year and a half or 2 years, you've spent an extra, whatever it is, $175,000 or whatever it is. But you haven't, you don't have anything to show for it. You know, you spin it, and now it's still going up. I just think this is the only way that you're ever going to gain control of the claims of the group, is to help the people become healthier, number one. And number two, fix it so that you can budget what you're spending for your health insurance. And so I think we've done all we can do to make it work for you.
On that one question I guess I had was, Randy said, I think when he gave his proposal, he said, you know, if it comes in more than that, they'll take care of it, right?
No, that's taken care of at the company level.
The company level.
Yeah, you don't,
Now, what if it came under that?
then you get the money back.
Well, I thought he said that,
Or you can use it to pay back.
I thought he said, on that, he said he would keep that.
This is some of his admin fees, correct, or?
No, it's just over the policy, I thought he.
If the claims are more than what the actuaries have projected under this type of plan, if the claims are more, you don't pay anything. That's eaten by the company. Now, and that's why I said, if the company comes back at the end of that time and said, oh my gosh, we had 50,000 more of claims than we had money, we've got to raise the price. Fine, let them raise the price, go get another quote somewhere. You know, you're not strapped to this company once you do it. Whatever your contract length is, your price is going to be shown. It's not going to exceed that, even if the claims do. If your claims can be reduced through the efforts of the lifestyle program they've got in here, and let's say you come out and in the claims pool there's an extra $40,000. You can either take the $40,000 back for that year, or you can apply it to next year's premiums. That's my understanding, having read the lifestyle booklet and everything.
how are they able to give us a 100% price without doing applications on the employees?
So look at your claims history.
Yeah,
That
they've
we got
already
from
looked at
Dana,
your
all the
claim.
claims that have been paid out, they based it off all of that for the past year. So basically, I guess they figure that's like looking at employee applications, because that's all your active claims.
Smaller groups, they have to do it, they have to take applications. But, you know, if the groups the size you are, they'll look at claims experience. And if you've been with that current company for, you know, if you've got claims experience over the last 3 or 4 years, they can predict it, the actuaries can predict it.
Questions you got, Jeff?
I don't know, we got another company that just come in before you, I assume you know that. Okay, but anyway, we got so much information.
I don't know,
I guess,
information overload.
well, I guess, people read that, think what they wanna come into, a snicker and risk management. Have you ever heard of
No.
Snedeker?
It's a self-insured plan.
They offer two different types. They have what's called a Hope Trust, which is a large group of people that, you know, these are the clients they have, which, I mean, just locally, they got Johnson in Union County. So, you know, then they come in and dirty water up, you know, give us options too. And, so, it makes it tough.
Well, and it,
I mean, I think we should definitely give everyone an opportunity to look at it.
I'm not opposed to that.
You know, I think we need to come up with something that gives guidelines of what people, everybody will have a fair, know what we're asking for. I just don't know if we can do that today, you know.
Well, if you need us, call us. We'll be out somewhere working on things, so anything you wanna add, Carolyn?
no, I mean, we are a block away, so it'd be nice to keep it local, but
Yes, ma'am.
I understand shopping it around too.
Gerald, Jeff might have some questions. I don't know if he will.
We're just in a position where we gotta save, you know, maybe, who knows who's gonna save the most money, but we have to do what's best by the taxpayer. We do think.
This is true. All right,
Thank you.
sounds good.
I think that just shows you what like the claims we have.
Yeah. Just give that to them.
No, I think they've already seen them.
I have to, Randy House, he, you know, had questions. You could tell his